There we go. Okay,
There
let's get into it here. We got a couple. There's gonna be some good notables.
You want to do the budget off the bat?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say about it that I didn't say in the sip and rip. I think the biggest, like, I cannot outdo Millennial Moron, and I said this on the Sunday show that, he's the guy. The guy is like hyper focused on the most important things in that budget and beat not only the media to the big stories, but also the Conservative Party to the big stories. I don't know if did you listen to Sip and Rip on Sunday?
No.
Did you know that the government's new definition of operational versus investing capital meant that even though the Carney Liberals spent months campaigning on this idea that the Trudeaus were reckless spenders and the government budget was out of control and the books needed to be really tightened up, their new definition had the 2025 budget with all the old spending and no new spending already balanced, which means that all the spending the Liberals were doing was in line with what they view as investment capital. How about that? So they balanced the budget in terms of the old spending and then took on enough new spending that they're not going to, quote unquote, balance it again for 4 years, unless literally anything rocks the economic boat. There's no room for error at all. And no one picked up on that except for Millennial Moron. Nobody. And I still haven't seen anything about it. Melissa Lantzman today put out a super long article about bureaucratic processes and a video to go with it. Retarded. Talk about this investment thing. This is the big thing. And Jason Jake, the PBO interim, the interim PBO, parliamentary budget officer, going on every show still and saying, like, this is a problem. We are in uncharted territory. These guys are making up definitions. They're extremely broad, much more broad than Germany, much more broad than the UK, much more broad than any accounting definition. It's not hard to see where this is going. And I just am like dumbfounded that most Canadians don't take an interest in this. At the same time, Francois Philippe Champagne is on Steve Paikin's podcast. Paikin pitching him slow and across the plate over and over and over again. No hard questions, no research, no nothing. And it's like, what are we hoping for here? When these guys come to do interviews on the news, on whatever, like Capellos, raises her voice and has, hard-hitting intonation, but also doesn't ask good questions. Where's the research? Control F the budget, capital, investing, strategic, defense. Look for these words. Tell me what you see. Tell me what you find. It's not KPMG level accounting required to look at a budget and say, here's what the old budget says. Here's what the new budget says. Here's what investment means. And then go to Google and say, what does investment mean in the UK? Like, it's not that hard. You got ChatGPT, you got Perplexity, you got all these other tools now. No one's doing the work except for people on the internet. And so when you go to Thanksgiving dinner now or Christmas dinner as a Canadian, and you're, someone who's terminally online or knows how to do research, what do you think I can't even talk to the people around my table now. Mark Carney was the guy for the job. What are we basing this on now? I understand if you thought that before the election, but what are you basing it on now? The government.
How long have you been there?
Hold on. The government ran on the idea they were going to tighten up the books. Then they redefined what investment and what spending was, or investment in operations. And the new definition had all the old spending that was characterized as frivolous as right in line with a balanced budget. What are we talking about, man?
There's more to it. The question I asked before is, how long has he been there? Like, when did he come into power? Was
Jason Jakes or Carney? Carney's been there for 8 months now, almost 7 months. Yeah.
Now, has the price of food gone up since then?
Oh yeah.
Have you
definitely.
noticed? Did you notice that the price of strawberries gone? Like, I don't know about you, but I don't buy strawberries.
We buy berries for my daughter all the time. Yeah,
you do.
They're expensive. They're very expensive. My wife tells me all the time she can't believe it. I think a little flat of raspberries is like $7.
I don't buy it myself.
Like 3 days.
That's more of somebody that's beneath me that could buy it. I have somebody buy it for me, right? Like that shit is. But the reality is, look, the price of beef has gone up quite a bit. The price of chicken is soon going to go up quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're using these new metrics, deficit to GDP.
This is the other. This is the deficit to
GDP.
GDP. Deficit to GDP is a bad one, but let me give you a better one. Net debt to GDP.
Oh yes, including all the assets and everything.
So that includes net debt to GDP is this new metric that no one really talks about in the modern world because most of the modern world is not retarded. Net debt to GDP is different than debt to GDP. Debt to GDP is the country's spending to its outputs. Okay, fine. Whatever it owes compared to what it's outputting. That's already a bad number. Net debt to GDP is nefarious. It is intentionally misleading and it is dishonest. And everybody knows this, including Jason Jakes. He's talked about it. And I think we talked about it too, but I will reiterate here. The big problem with net debt to GDP is that it includes the pension assets in the net debt calculation, but doesn't include entitlement spending that's yet to be outputted, or healthcare, or education, or anything. So those pension assets, great for paying down the debt. But in terms of actual entitlement spending that's coming down the line, that's already been budgeted for, especially as the boomers age into their withdrawal years from their pension accounts and from the CPPIB, this is not included. It is the most backwards set of metrics I've ever seen. And Jason Jakes is trying hard when he goes on these shows not to blow a gasket, but he's getting closer. And at the same time all this is happening, Sussex has the audacity to say they're looking for a new PBO lead, and he's got to have tact and discretion. Like fuck he does. His job is to tell the public and parliamentarians what's going on. Where'd my camera go? My camera just shut off. I got to turn it back on. It's too, my camera's too hot. Yeah, it's too hot. I'm still here. But listen,
you're yelling at it, man.
I know.
You're mining too much.
I have to turn it off because it's running at 4K. I got to get it off of 4K. But like the point I'm trying to make is that if you allow this level of accounting to continue, you will cause yourself so much grief down the line as a Canadian. You have no idea how this is going to impact you.
Don't worry, Joey. You'll be able to cash out your ETFs and everything and be able to get access. It goes all back to this, right? Let's play out this deficit to GDP thing, right? The deficit this year is extremely high. One reason is, well, two reasons. They're funding a lot of these projects, these projects to help build stuff, right? Okay, that's number one. The second is they haven't had a budget released in a year and a half. So you're adding an extra 6 months on what's been done, right?
Sure.
So now you have, hypothetically, you have the deficit. I don't know what it is this year, 80 billion or what was it?
78 billion. Yeah, 78 billion.
Next year.
And by the way, that number is going to go up.
This is what I'm trying to get at, because now you've had a year and a half worth of budget. Next year is going to be 12 months. So, and you're marking to spending all this money on projects. Maybe you could front load it, because next year, instead of having 80 million deficit, it's now 70 million, which is still in its own very bad. But the deficit to GDP went down by 10 billion. So, it's trending in the right direction. It's great.
That's right.
But it's not a good overall a metric of the health of the economy. It's a snapshot just year to year. That's all it is. Like, at least debt to GDP, you could compare it over a long enough period of time. Deficit, you're just comparing it year to year. And if you have a blip, it fucking throws everything off, either positively or negatively.
Yeah.
And now, talking about things are looking rosy, the Bank of Canada came out with some reports. I don't know exactly what was said in it, but I was listening to Question Period. Apparently, they're saying that inflation numbers are within the target, and it has been for some time. But look at the price of groceries.
Hey, don't forget, Bank of Canada just abandoned core inflation as a metric. So, they're looking at things that they're not illustrative of the actual difficulties and the full economic picture. They're not, and they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it on purpose. Is the thing.
And now they say that salaries are going up year to year. Now, maybe they are, and if they are they going up with the same rate as the cost of what your living is? I'll let you decide that. They're saying that they're creating so many jobs. The last job report that came out for the month of October was the majority of jobs was less than 10,000 jobs.
I did this on Sip and Rip. It was
70,000 jobs were created part-time.
30,000 people adding a second job, and 1/3 of the new jobs across both.
You can't say that
seniors.
You can't say that that's a metric of success and say that jobs are good.
And by the way, Len, that's a seasonal pump too.
Yes,
those
exactly.
are not.
The Blue Jays were doing really well. People were hired to do like these. It was food and the type of services.
Totally.
Look, the question really goes to is the things the way they're trending. Can this be fixed? Can you say there is a likelihood in the next 5, 10, whatever year you want to put in, can this thing be fixed? Can the boat be righted here? Can you say, yeah, this is trending in the right direction? If the answer is no, what the fuck are you doing?
The answer is no.
Then what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking you. It's not a rhetorical question.
I'm buying Bitcoin. I'm loading up on assets that are transportable, that travel well, let's say, and I'll be ready. It's fun. I have a couple of sort of signpost indicators in my life. One is my wife's willingness to discuss leaving Dundas, and although she's not necessarily warm to it, I haven't decided yet. But at some point, there will come a time when I look around, I'm sure at some point, and go, yeah, this is like I'm seeing the same signs I saw in my old neighborhood.
But where do you go?
I don't know.
That's the question. And
there is no answer when I come to it. I'll cross the bridge when I come to it. Right now, the top 2 countries on my list are Poland and Hungary. I think you can escape a lot of the nonsense over there, but I would add Russia, Estonia, some of those other places that are difficult to travel to by dinghy.
Now, for Rayken in the chat, I've been pounding this fucking drum, the GTFO drum, for quite some fucking time. And I've been telling people, make the fucking preparations before things get bad. The worst thing that you could do is when shit hits the fan and you start making the moves then. You don't want to do it. You want to start making the moves today. Better yesterday, but start it today. You don't have to act in it. If the worst comes, then you at least have a plan. If the worst doesn't come, well, you at least plan for something that didn't happen. It's like you built a bomb shelter and no bomb came up. You got to plan ahead. Where to go? It's up to you. EU, I don't know, man. Like maybe the 2 you mentioned, the 2 countries.
I think I said
fucking disaster.
Yeah, I think the EU is a collapsing group, but Hungary and Poland have held their own in terms of third world immigrants and Islam and all this other shit that destroys modern worlds. And so
there's a lot more to it, though.
Yeah, whatever. But my point is that. Is it going to get easier or harder as the EU starts to collapse economically and socially to continue to resist those things? It'll get easier. I think those will become very popular spots, to be honest with you.
So the problem,
I'd like to go.
The question I have is, what's the likelihood that this thing doesn't collapse in 10 years? And I think a lot.
What's this thing?
The European Union and this it's almost an experiment that's been in the works for 25 years or so.
35 now.
And I wasn't even more than that long. It's a lot. My opinion hinges on the success of Germany and France. And France has really gone bad, and Germany has really gone.
Oh, hey, I don't know if you know this, but the IMF says Canada and Germany are the best economies in the world. So
Germany, to their credit, though, I'll have to say this: they fucked up by closing those nuclear plants and all that. But they have decided. It looks like they're gonna, because the war is over and has been some time in Syria. They're talking about basically saying, you know what, you're no longer a refugee if you're from that neck of the woods because you came here to escape a war. The war is no longer there. It may be time for you to go back. So at least to their credit, they're going to be doing that.
I think Germany's going the other direction. Germany is creating, if you listen to Sip and Rip, you'd know this, Germany creating a catalog, an inventory of young people based on their fitness level and other characteristics to prepare for a draft, according to the Wall Street Journal.
And that's what I was going to get to that. If this thing collapses, you have now Romania that is bordering Ukraine. You have Poland that is bordering, like you have these almost buffer countries, and I don't want to call them buffer countries, but if they don't have a commitment from the whole, the European Union, and they're on their own, it becomes. I mean, we see what happened 100 years ago. We've seen what happened 75 years, 80 years ago, whatever the fuck it was. Like things could repeat itself. There could be an advance of troops. People just want to take it.
There is going to be a rise of right-wing populism. If it hasn't started already, it's going to start. I mean, Donald Trump had to mention Nick Fuentes by name to the press the other day to give you an idea. Like, I don't know where we are in the continuum in terms of the conservative movement all over the modern world pushing for policies that were unthinkable 12 months ago, but we were inching closer. Now we are moving closer to these things. So yeah, I do think there's a possibility that things get nasty. And the EU is, if you follow Preston Byrne, friend of the show, who's doing incredible work in the fight for free speech for American companies operating in Europe, like that guy's a fucking hammer. The stuff he's tweeting about.
And he left the UK, right? Like
he left the UK. He moved to Connecticut. I think he lives in Connecticut now with his cute little pup there. And now the EU is clamping down on free speech at crazy speed. There goes my camera again. It's clamping down on the EU at a crazy speed. Why? Because the EU knows that these policies are unpopular. And so they have no choice but to tell people, well, you can't talk about how unpopular the policies are. That we can't have that. We need these policies to pass. We can't have you guys talking about how much you hate them. That's not going to work. So it's so laughable and so predictable that all this stuff is going on now. And I think that people are realizing this, regardless of their political stripe, their age, all this stuff. Like, wait a minute. I have to tell Spotify how old I am before I go online. I have to tell Twitter that I have to take a picture of my face to go on Twitter and attach my
It's illegal to use
ID.
VPNs. At least that's
you know what I'm saying? Like it's nuts. Common people are starting to realize that things are happening here, and they're not happy about it. I don't think, and they shouldn't be. They should not be happy about it. I agree.
And because there's been a lot of immigration everywhere, right? So it's slowly changing demographics, and you have a very low birth rate. And as the old people die off, and then you get really a change in how things are. That could also be a change in votes over a period of time.
Totally.
It may not happen immediately, but you wait, as certain people have more kids than others, and after a couple of generations, it's holy cow. And Sweden is an example of this, of how things have changed over there. And they're in the EU, and once you're in a EU country, you have a passport, you could go to any. There's little resistance to go to another one. You still there, Joey?
Yeah, yeah.
There's little resistance to go to another one. You could easily go and live and work in a different EU country if you have a passport, a EU passport. So, like the example is the Roma, the Gypsies, right? They now they're in Canada too, right? They've come here to do their craft. But they're a nuisance for certain. Like you go to Italy, for example, they're fucking. Ben Johnson was robbed by
man,
and he couldn't chase them down after. It's just whatever. It is what it is. I want to mention the UK. We talked about them, and I just want to give them credit here because it's turning into a case study. And they have a population of about 70 million as of mid 2024. So it's gone up, I would imagine a little bit since then.
Significantly, yep.
Maybe in a year. I don't know how much. Well, maybe 1 million. Anyways, we'll call it 71 million. So the Department of Work and Pensions, they indicated that the number of people on universal credit, aka welfare, is now 4 million people. If you do the math, that's around 5% of the population that are not working. And they also conclude the number of foreigners that are claiming this welfare is at a record $1.24 million.
Who could have seen this coming? Christopher Hitchens is rolling in his grave right now. Continue.
So the government, they announced this week that it's launching an independent review into the rising number of young people not working or studying, many of whom are not collecting benefits at all, but instead becoming economically inactive straight after education. So they just leave after they finish education. They don't decide to work or anything, and they started collecting this universal credit. My God.
It's a mess. They're NEETs. I think the term is NEET, right? Not in education, employment, or training, I think is the term that you'd use for those kids. They just don't care. They're apathetic. And by the way, like, why there's videos of migrants playing PlayStation 5s and eating four-course meals in hotels for free. Why the fuck, if you were an 18-year-old, 19-year-old in Britain, would you not just become a roadman? How's that slang for people in the chat? I still got it. I'm not unk status yet. How about you just become a roadman and hang out in the street, smoke darts, harass people in an Adidas sweatsuit all day and leech off the state? Why should you not? If you come over in an inflatable raft, you get to play Call of Duty all day in a hotel. Well, like, why do I have to work? Why do I have to pay for school? Why do I have to take on debt? Why do I have to live in a 10-man apartment building, in a 10-man apartment? It's ridiculous. Normal people are opposed to this stuff for good reason. Why are we still pretending? Why are we still pretending? We should not be pretending, okay, that this is not happening anymore. And this is ultimately the problem that governments are contending with now, that the normal people are tired of seeing this shit every fucking day, every fucking hour, every fucking minute. Stories about, food banks are overloaded. Someone goes down to the food bank, takes a video. It's all immigrants. I can't get a job anywhere. There's no jobs. You go to Tim Hortons, someone takes a video. It's all Indians. You go, the hospital's packed. I can't see a doctor for 20 hours. Someone takes a video of the hospital. It's all newcomers. Like everyone is fucking sick of it. They're sick of it. And why should they not be? I continue to say this on Twitter. I will say it on the show. The people in charge have no understanding of the information environment in which they're operating, and it is costing them dearly in terms of support. And when you lose support, you don't just lose votes, you lose cohesion. That causes revolution. If you want to know what that looks like, ask some Europeans from the 50s. Ask them in the 60s. Ask them in the 70s. New York, Seattle, this is the start. Okay, these guys are electing socialists. Mamdani's a bad one. Katie Wilson in Seattle lives with her parents. She's 43 years old. Mayor. This is how it starts. And you know how it ends already. You have to be prepared.
Let's talk about the Canadian justice system again. We talked about
I'm already worked up and up. I had 2 coffees today after 5 o'clock because I thought I was going to be up talking to Phil till 10 o'clock, and now I'm not. And so I'm just unloading here. I'm absolutely unloading.
Well, get ready.
Keeping an eye on the monitor, making sure that my voice doesn't go too loud that my daughter wakes up and she's out like a light.
Clear those lungs because you may start yelling. This guy, he's a Mohawk man. He named Jesse Garlow, and he's a convicted drug trafficker. And he was essentially freed after being caught in possession with weapons. The man was discovered driving around Peterborough with a crack pipe in his lap. And not just that, a loaded and prohibited modified military-style rifle described as by the judge as a quote-unquote killing machine in the back seat. Not only that, he had a fucking flamethrower in the trunk. So the judge noted that the rifle was designed...
He's out on bail already. I can already see where this is going.
The judge noted that the rifle was designed solely to, quote, maim and or kill in a spray of bullets. And was in the possession of shit that's antithetical to norms of Canadian values, because obviously we don't like this type of stuff. And they just banned this stuff not too long ago, this type of weapon. But yeah, he's able to have this modified thing. So the courts decided to try him, and the prosecutor's demand of a 3.5-year prison sentence was rejected by the courts. He was given credit, 516 days in jail. So for the pretrial, he was given credit, resulting in a suspended sentence, Joey, and 3 years probation. And the decision for declaring Garlow was, quote, personification of intergenerational trauma.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Citing
fuck's sake.
Okay,
all right.
Let me finish this.
All right.
Citing his personal history, including his father's cultural damage from the residential school system, the murder of both his grandfathers, and his own descent into drug abuse and crime. So the judge determines these factors, and they say that it drastically lowered his moral responsibility. She stated that the punishing him further.
Sorry, she?
Yeah, Judge.
Of course. There's a pattern emerging here.
Justice Brenda Green. And so she stated that punishing him further, quote, for the sake of the common good would be unjust, quote. So reducing the sentence would not be a soft on crime thing, but rather a obligation to address, redress, and hopefully institutionalize the abused persons here. So it's a very interesting case, and he's now out and about at 516 days in jail was enough. The guy had a flamethrower, and a modified military style weapon.
Yep.
After being convicted for drugs, he was out, did his crime his punishment
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
so he's already a criminal. So imagine if I got caught with this kind of stuff and I don't have a record. I'm
You'd
wondering
be,
if I'm gonna
you'd be locked up for life. Why are we not just executing people publicly? Can we? I'm serious. There's a point to be made here about public death, and it's not harsh in a way that's any different from the things that somebody might experience at the hands of this fella down the road. He will almost certainly commit another crime. It will almost certainly be one of violence, and it will almost certainly destroy a family. So why are we not publicly executing people like this? Again, we need to make an example out of a few people, right? This is all it takes. There's a significant thing to be said for the chilling effect. Criminals have no fear in this country, none. I am friends with many police officers, and they all agree that something needs to be done in terms of deterrent. And the law no longer provides that. That is the role of the law. And crime and punishment are a pair because of the deterrent factor. If the punishment is no longer a deterrent, then what is? It's not self-defense. I can't use a gun on my property. I'm still waiting to hear what happened to those guys who broke in and the homeowner stabbed him or took a swing at him with a knife or something. So that's not a deterrent. Jail's not a deterrent because these guys are living in Club Med a lot of times. Like I look down on Barton Street there in the Hamilton jail. I've got a buddy who was in there for assault. I won't tell that story, but he was telling me that it really wasn't that bad. You just make friends with people and you're just killing time, basically playing hacky sack and eating decent meals and doing push-ups. Like, okay. You have to publicly execute people. There's nothing left if we don't start doing that. We're talking about people. There was a news report or a police report a little while ago about a guy who was released into the community in Canada. He's a pedophile. Like they post this picture and say that he's a high risk to reoffend. Why is he out? Why isn't he hanging? Guys who are committing crimes and killing people in their homes while he's on bail. Why? Well, institutional racism. Kill him. What there's this meme about we can fix everything by just flipping this switch. And all the quotes around the switch in the picture are, well, don't even talk about flipping the switch. We don't want to hear about the switch. Only extremists mention the switch. The switch is from a time past. We can't talk about the switch. We don't really want to fix everything. What does fix even mean? We're not sure about this. Don't go near the switch. Don't mention it. The switch can't be brought up. We need to flick the switch. The switch is serious punishment publicly for serious crimes. Because otherwise, Len, what is the outcome? It's people getting killed. It's people getting killed on roads, people getting killed in their home, people getting killed at their stores, people getting killed while they're walking, people getting stabbed while they're taking their dog out. It's not just here. It's in the UK. It's in Germany. Can't have a Christmas market. Can't have a public gathering. Can't go to church. Can't go to school. Why? Because you might die. Like, at what point do we start hanging people in the town square? And yeah, you can say whatever you want. Like, this video, I don't know, maybe it'll circulate, maybe it won't. But my point is that if you don't punish people for their crimes in a way that is proportionate for the damage they are doing, not only to your society, but to the people who are victimized, killing kids, diddlers, you name it. If you're not getting punished, then what are we doing? What is the whole point of the system if not to punish these people? We're not trying to rehabilitate them. This guy is not going to suddenly no longer have a problem with his generational trauma in a year. He will still have the flamethrower and the modified weapon. Like, what is the fix there? And I don't understand what we're doing anymore. It's frustrating to me. I'm paying taxes to live in a place where violence is encouraged. The encouragement is implicit with the lack of punishment. So what the fuck is going on? What are we supposed to do?
I think we should move to the next story. I don't have an answer for that. Oh my
God. No opinion again? I'm out there. I'm out there
because we have the Cowichan tribes. They are urgently seeking financial help from the federal government.
I love this story too.
Clean up a massive illegal landfill on their reserve near Duncan, BC. And this is an environmental disaster, and it's poisoning the local environment. It's a quote unquote mountain of waste on Indian Road, and it's including, we lost you again, Joey. It's including construction waste, industrial waste, and even dangerous concentrations of heavy metals like arsenic, lead, and zinc. And yeah, so the environmental reports that this is very toxic and it could leach into the nearby Cowichan River, and it could threaten the groundwater and anybody that's relying on that for sustaining life. And the estimated cost for remediation is up to around $5.3 million. And they want to have the federal government help and provide payment for this. And Ottawa, I guess, is mulling this over for right now. And they're saying that the tribe is saying this is a long overdue responsibility by the federal government. Also of note, the Cowichan tribes received a total, this has been reported, at least I can't confirm this, they received a total of nearly $560 million in federal funding from 2017 to 2025. That's including $93 million in 2023 and $94 million in 2024. Keep in mind these numbers. I said $560 million since 2017. According to Google, the Cowichan tribes have about 5,500 members, according to 2024 data.
Can they take turns picking up the garbage for a few years? The best quote from this story, I'm trying to find it on my Twitter feed here in between trying to cool my camera down. It's funny. I was talking to Ben and a few other podcast people on Telegram the other day, and we were talking about overheating cameras. Now here I am breaking every rule I have about making sure my camera stays cool. The best part of this story is the quote from one of the band leaders that says, this is not just a Cowichan issue to clean up and fix. It's a federal issue. I don't fucking think so. You want to talk about land that belongs to you, that no one's allowed to operate on. You're blocking pipelines, maybe not you specifically, but your tribes people and your colleagues are blocking pipelines and economic development. You're taking money at all turns with your hands out. You fix it. And if you want the government to fix it, you sign the land over to the federal government. They'll fix it for you, but they're going to own it after that. That is the cost of doing business in the real world. Not this.
Don't be a decel, Joey. Don't be a fucking decel. I want to talk about this. It's close to home for me. In Oakville, we had a power outage. This, nothing crazy about that. But the reason for this power outage was due to a stolen transformer. And Halton police are investigating a stolen transformer that led to the Oakville's, this neighborhood in Oakville in northeast part that was had a power outage. And according to police, this took place in November 6th. And police came out and realized, holy fuck, the transformer was stolen. And the transformer is a lot of copper and shit like that. So they took all this. Apparently, the theft is over $5,000. They say the pole was cut down to access the transformer, and there's no suspects available right now. This is, I love this. It reminds me a bit. This is like a story from 20 years ago. On the 427, that's a highway in the west side of Toronto, when the price of steel started really going up, thieves went out and started stealing the covers for the sewers. And they did this on the fucking highway too. If a car came in at like 100 kilometers per hour and hit it with the tire, they would have spun out and just rolled or whatever. It would have been disastrous. But it's reminded me of that. Like when shit goes up in price and people aren't being punished, as you mentioned 2 stories ago, it gives them incentive to take stuff. And
it's a free for all. It's a free for all everywhere. Like, what are we talking about? Well, maybe next time, if you don't want the transformer stolen, or if you don't want any issues, leave the keys to the transformer there. Leave a decoy transformer on your porch or whatever. Find a way. You guys can do it. You take the advice that you're giving out. I have no sympathy. Fuck them.
Speed cameras are now done in Ontario as of November 15th. They're no longer allowed in the streets. And some people are pissed because they're saying this is a good way to deter speeders. And the Doug Ford was saying this was strictly a cash grab. I
got my window open because my camera's overheating and I'm just fucking screaming unpleasant things. People can probably hear me on the street. Okay, go ahead. Can't wait.
So Ford was saying this is a cash grab, right? I'm not sure which side of the camp you believe. This is either a cash grab or it's helping deter drivers. But once he said we're going to get rid of this, Toronto City Council unanimously voted to ask the province to reimburse the city for road safety programs after the speed cameras are gone. So I guess it was a cash grab.
Yeah.
I guess
Olivia Chow has the intestinal constitution to stand up in front of a camera and a microphone and say that they're going to lose 1,000 jobs if they don't get the speed cameras back. Like, it's a moneymaker for you, and you're spending the money before you have it. It's not deterring drivers from speeding, obviously, if it's making money. So that's the other thing, right? Well, it's making us so much money because drivers are speeding. Well, then it's not deterring anyone. Like what? Like these guys, again, they don't think. And they just talk and talk and talk without considering the things they're saying, because they've never had to deal with Len and Joey on Wednesday berating them for being stupid. But like, they are stupid. They are stupid. This is a stupid thing to say. It's a stupid thing to say. And Ford is right for getting rid of those speed cameras. They're dumb. They're so dumb. They cause problems because people are driving at pace with traffic, and the speed cameras pop up in your map, and your map says speed camera ahead. You fucking hit the brakes, or you see the speed camera, you fucking hit the brakes, and you're like, okay, well, now I'm causing traffic jams. That's an issue too. The same way, by the way, that cops that are operating speed traps are causing traffic issues. I believe that is the case too. That those guys, when they're hiding under bridges and stuff, and people see them last minute on the Lincoln Alexander Parkway here in Hamilton, they go from doing 105 to slamming on their brake and going 80 in the fast lane because they don't want to get a ticket. Like, that causes problems for traffic.
What about that guy not too long ago was using his rollerblades in the link?
See that guy? He's
so you gotta slow down traffic for that dude, right? Or else you're just gonna be fucking wiped afterwards. Anyway,
let's how many more before Brampton Hamilton? Because this camera, I can tell, is gonna overheat.
No, it's now we're doing.
Let's do it. 256 Heat is a sponsor of this segment of the show. If you want to heat your house, okay,
he's hot.
Use 256 Heat. I don't know why people are not using them. Tuan is selling so many of these goddamn things that he's traveling around the province installing big setups for people. In no small part thanks to you guys who are buying them. I cannot stress enough how great these units are, and everyone should have one of these. If you don't, I don't know why you don't, especially with the price low now. You may find that you get a little bit more firepower on the mining side if people are shutting off their miners. It's good, man. It's good. I love it. Yeah, take the ride in the chat. If you want to heat your house, you can also buy this camera, the ZVE 10. Maybe me and Len are always talking about what we should buy on Black Friday for the show. Maybe the answer is buying like a camera fan or something. I don't know. Not sure. Think about that. Yeah. The problem is I was using USB for a long time because I broke my capture card. There it goes. I broke my capture card cable, and I just got a new one in the mail. And so this thing is running the CamLink card now, and it's getting hot. Obviously, I have to figure that out. But anyway, okay, Brampton or Hamilton? I'll close the chat. Here we go. Let's rip it.
So this man, it's kind of a sad story, but I like the way the method in which he used to do the deed. He killed his dad with a crossbow.
This is the lead up to the story.
Yeah. So this man killed his dad with a crossbow, and he's gonna face life in prison after pleading to second-degree murder. I can't believe this guy gets life in prison, but the other guy with the flame.
What about his generational trauma? Does he have any?
That's the thing. Yeah, well, he says he's very sorry for what he did. He apologized to his family for the pain that he caused them, and he wanted to let them know that at the time of release, at the time this was released, he was a very different man, and he hopes to be a better man moving forward. And this guy was 23, he was charged with first-degree murder, and he pleaded guilty to second-degree murder with the consent of the Crown. And he won't be able to get parole for 13 years because, this is a fit and proper judgment according to Justice Paul Sweeney. So this guy, in February 2024, was waiting outside his dad's home in a rented SUV. When his father came home, he confronted him and shot him twice with the crossbow before fleeing in the SUV. Police arrested him 2 days later.
Isn't it hard to reload a crossbow?
I think so, but maybe the first one, you might have got him and he's just, what the fuck happened? Like, who shot me with a crossbow? I'd be stunned too. And so apparently this guy was claiming that his father was abusive in his lifestyle, and he's doing shit that is against his beliefs. And his father, 56, worked as a welder. He was pronounced dead at the hospital about an hour later. And that's a story. This guy shot his dad. He had enough of him, and he decided to use a fucking crossbow to end his life. So that's story number one. Story number 2 is a little shorter, but this delivery driver is facing charges after alleged sexually assaulting a customer in their home. And this happened.
Just wrap it up. I already know the answer. You finished the story, but everybody already knows the answer.
So this happened in April 3rd in an apartment, and this guy was working as delivery driver. He entered into the woman's
delivery driver. This has never been easier on this show.
Under the guise of using the restroom, so he decided, you know what, I'm gonna take a piss. By the way, I'm gonna fucking sexually assault you at the same time. And so yeah, so he sexually assaulted her before leaving the unit, and the police believe there may be other victims. 29-year-old this dude was caught and charged with 1 count of sexual assault.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 stories. Okay. I was going to use another story that was very famous this week, but I couldn't because you would have known about it. So I had to go to call an audible and use this one. So if people are crying, why didn't you fucking use the very famous story? There's a reason why. Joey would have guessed right away. Anyways,
yeah. I mean, obviously the sexual assaulter is the Brampton man. That's a no-brainer. Delivery driver, sexual assault. He's checking all the boxes. Was he wearing sandals too during the incident? Was there any like ring camera footage?
Doesn't say, but yeah, the guy charged. Did he give his name? No, it does not give his name. But the other guy, God, he. Let me see. Pull up the article for that one. The guy with the crossbow, Sukraj Chima Singh. I got his name.
But he's a Hamilton man.
He's a Hamilton man. Yeah, he shot his father. Yeah.
How old is that story?
2024.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot about that if I read it at all. Like good find by you. That would have been a good one if you were saying to me that. Yeah.
I'm not naming names.
Guess not.
Yeah, there was the bus story. You heard that bus story, right?
Of course. I've been talking about it with everybody. The HSR should hire that guy. I was a big time bus user in high school because most of the schools we played basketball against were other places in the city, and my parents were working. So at 2:30 or 2 o'clock, you get out a little early from school. If you're on the team, get on a city bus and off you go.
This guy was
got to go to Cathedral, got to go to
stops.
BR. Yeah,
right? He was still making stops.
He was on track, on schedule. And I think the story, so I have a source at the city. And the story is that the guy who took the bus was a passenger of the bus leading up to the theft. And the reason he took the bus, is this in the story?
No, but this I was aware.
The reason he took the bus is because the driver was taking too long during one of his breaks.
And did you watch the episode on Seinfeld when Kramer was talking about he saw a bus driver was being mugged and then he was knocked out. So Kramer decided to take control and he was driving. Did you remember this one or no?
I've seen it. Yeah.
He was talking. Yeah. This is exactly the same thing. He was driving the bus. Kramer was driving the bus and he was still making the stops just like this fucking guy. Right. So this guy is the modern day Kramer. This guy took the bus and he's fucking making all the stops because people were ringing the bell.
I love it. That's it.
Apparently people were telling me he was going the wrong way. He had to detour and stuff. He went on from Maine to King or something.
He got everybody to their stops. I didn't hear any complaints. People on Reddit agree with me. If the guy was on time and polite, give him a job. Let's not reprimand him. I don't know what kind of generational trauma he's got, but I hope he's got some.
He'd be a non-union member, right?
Yeah, I think he's a contractor. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So that's it. We're out of here. Good night and God bless you all. Thanks for coming.
Oh,
this was a well-attended show, by the way. I see.
Before we end it, okay. I just want to say, Joey, next month we have coming up Christmas. Now, for people out there that are still listening and watching,
everybody's
I'd love
watching
to know
and listening still.
Some suggestions because what I envision, this is the way I want to do it, Joey, and I'm going to throw it out there for everybody. This is basically, we're behind the scenes here, but we'll do it in front of the camera. Well, there's a bunch of different stories: Hamilton versus Brampton, and name a few, like Edmonton versus Calgary. I just want to know which cities you want to be covered in that's going to be the whole show. It's going to be one versus another.
Do whatever you want. If you find 40 minutes worth of those stories, I'm in.
But Joey, you do a few, I do a few,
yeah,
and we go from there.
Sure.
So we could do like Victoria versus Vancouver. I don't know.
But you want me to find a few to give you?
Yes.
Okay.
So
sure.
we each have a few to throw to each other, but I just want to know which towns or cities you want to be thrown up head to head. Windsor has to be on there.
Windsor's got to be there. I think we got to go out to like Calgary. I would say, yeah. Sault Ste. Marie be a good one. Surrey, a good one.
Yeah. I need to know.
like the GTA has a few good ones too. Like you could do like Oshawa versus like Coburg or something. Those would be good. There's probably we got to scour the local newspapers for like small town crime stories and see what we find.
I want to know like which ones you want to hear.
You pick. I don't care. I'll pick mine. You pick yours, and we'll go head to head. I'll build a scoreboard overlay.
No, I want
Cornwall's
the people to
one too. Cornwall's a good
I want
one
the
too.
people to give us suggestions, and we run with that.
Okay.
This is a show for the people, dictated by the people, and we'll do it right.
Okay, you guys tell us then. We'll take
We already have the Hampton versus Brampton men, and that's going to be in there. But if you know what, if you have suggestions, send them our way, and then we'll divvy it up over here, and we'll go from there. That's going to be our Christmas episode.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Let's break. See you guys next week, I guess. Until then, take care of yourselves.
And don't be a Hamilton versus Brampton man.